first half of 2022 was the worst half year in the past 50 years since 1970. Yeah. So Dow Jones was down about 15%, and Taiwanese and Korean stock market has down more than 20%. So this has been just really a bumpy half year. On the other hand, interestingly, the fundamentals or the economic indicator has just not been that bad. For instance, the labor market is really the backbone of each economy, and then the U.S. labor market, the number has been really good. Running red hot. The unemployment rate is at 3.6%, close to pre-pandemic low. And U.S. has recovered pretty much all the job lost during the pandemic, which was at once 20 million jobs. So that makes people wonder what's going on, what's causing this great divergence. And I do believe there are two reasons. One is inflation, the other one is uncertainties. There's a saying that business don't like interest rate hike, but they hate uncertainties. Because uncertainty, they don't know what to anticipate. They don't know how to plan for the future. For instance, the Meta, the Facebook parent company of Facebook, they just reduced their hiring from 10,000 people to 6,000 people for 2022. So you can see that businesses are being very timid at this time of uncertainty.
Ben, so we know that central banks around the world seem to have different measures in this interesting timing. How is Taiwan central banks reacting to all these?
So far this year, we've had 2 interest rate rises by the central bank at their quarterly meetings. We had one in March, and then we just had our second one in June. Now, we've seen that inflation for June reached an almost 14-year high of 3.59% for Taiwan. Now, for year on year. Now, for Taiwan, that looks quite bad, right? Because it's 14-year high. But actually, comparatively speaking, Taiwan's inflation rate is still much lower than, say, the United States and also the Eurozone. So Taiwan has a different set of economic data that it's looking at. Obviously, Taiwan does pay attention to what decisions the Fed makes, and traditionally, Taiwan central bank meets basically the day after the Fed has its rate-setting meeting. So their next quarterly meeting is going to be in the middle of September, and the wide expectation amongst economists is that the interest rate is going to go up again. Now, the question, of course, is by what rate does that go up? So the last 2 raises, the last 2 interest rate hikes we've had in Taiwan have been by 0.25%. When you look at what policymakers have been saying about the economy here, actually we're not doing too badly here. And they point to things like Taiwan's economy obviously is very much driven by semiconductors, by tech, right? And actually so far the performance from these companies has been quite good. In fact, Foxconn, the very important Taiwanese assembler of iPhones, they've actually raised their business outlook for the year.